Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to an amazing, some might say awesome, roundup and review of Elimination Chamber 2001. As always, I am the ever humble Pete Titans Creed Neverco, joined by the great Kevin, the Kevin Eva.
I came to review.
And joined by the man who's not Sasha Banks in it, one Mr. John Turbo Finley.
Proving it all wrong, aren't I?
I mean, all you're doing is you're proving you're just a thorn in my side. Yes, we are here to talk about Elimination Chamber 2001. Hot off 2021, not 2001. 2021. Hot off the presses. We're doing this relatively early in the grand scheme of things. But yes. Overall thoughts, quickly, around the table?
Not bad.
I would concur. It wasn't terrible. Just
the middle.
Not bad.
The
middle.
The non-elimination chamber matches were shit.
One match was
the non-elimination chamber matches were shit.
Okay, you see that there, but hey, it's fine.
How dare you.
Not bad.
But yes, we will plow through the card, starting with, as we mentioned off the cuff, that Keith Lee was probably getting removed from the triple threat match. The pre-show match started with a fatal four-way to take Keith Lee's spot for the US title spot match thing. So we had John Morrison and other people. It was that forgettable, really.
What was it?
I was gonna say I would hope to God that people like Ricochet and Mustafa Ali would get a little bit of notoriety, but
where's Ricochet been? Ricochet's not been on Raw television for like
but when he does make an appearance, he does try to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologize. I think I actually went downstairs to make dinner, so I actually had food for this. And then I remember having my wireless headset down in the kitchen, and then I heard the "Pachoo" of Ricochet's entrance, and then I just took the headset off because I fucking hate that they've added that to his entrance.
Well, it's for where they can't leave well alone, like the sword noises on McIntyre and
the creaky
same
noise
damn
on...
thing.
The creaky noise on what's his face?
Yeah.
Oh, Aleister Black. Well, don't worry
Black.
about that because he's not even being showcased on TV at the moment. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Retribution were there.
Yeah,
Retribution were there. They did nothing as usual.
It really was
a little bit
bad.
and then just didn't really care.
It was very thrown together, and once again, not even an Asuka. They could have literally just done an Asuka squash match for the pre-show, just so she did something.
Well, apparently, because of the Lacey Evans issue, obviously, we can't find a replacement to replace Lacey Evans.
It's not like there's a billion women backstage ready to
I know. It's like we have a division? What's that?
Yeah, just there's loads of people just ready and willing to go.
I can think
throw
of
Natty in there with her. That'll be a nice
individuals from the women's division that could have.
Natty's on SmackDown.
Who cares? It's Natty. Doesn't matter. Natty's one of those where it doesn't matter. If you need someone to fill a gap, you just shove Neidhart at it.
She's so good. She's a free agent. That's where we got to.
She's John Cena. She doesn't matter to her.
This was just a nothing match. Like at least it was so random that no one really knew who was gonna win it.
But at the same time, did anybody care?
No, because none of these guys who were gonna win this match were invested in the US title scene, so therefore they weren't gonna win the match anyway.
No.
They should have just had a singles match.
That's why our predictions were all based on the two we knew were going to be part of
the only reason this didn't get changed to a singles match is because the finish. That's literally the finish of the triple threat match is literally the only reason it didn't get turned down to a singles match.
Yes. Anyway, so it all ended up with Ali looking stupid, Retribution looking more stupid, and John Morrison proclaiming to the world, "Look, I can do a schoolboy." It's like,
Yeah.
He did get out of that ring pretty fucking sharpish.
Yeah.
Of course he would.
Oh well. So yes, on to the first match of the actual card. We had the SmackDown #1 Contenders Elimination Chamber match. I'm going to see if I can remember all of the names without me looking. Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles.
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
It was a good match, good chamber match. I like this. For some reason, the mics were massively tuned up, or they had mics in the actual boxes now, and we could just hear all the literal like shit talk.
They turned it way up on this first chamber match. Like compared to the other chamber match, this was like they had that up way up.
No, both matches were just as bad. Like, plus Owens is just generally loud anyway.
You had Kevin Owens in a pod, Sami Zayn in a pod, and Kofi in a pod. 3 very loud noises that were happening during that match.
It was, Kofi was just putting the mouth on everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody.
Yep.
Kofi wouldn't shut the hell up.
I think he was telling Orton that he'd done some good work on his abs.
Yeah, that was good.
No, his calves. He was going on and saying, those squats, Randy, those squats.
He was totally trying to make Randy corpse.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
I think that was the case. I think that was probably the bet going in.
There was a bet.
All 3 of them was like, it's like, right, guys, we're gonna mess up with the beginning of the match. How we're gonna break any of these guys? And it's like, taking bets.
Bets.
But no, I love this match.
Match is good.
It's like
especially the ending. Woo.
Well, I mean, you started off with Bryan and Cesaro.
Cesaro, yeah, it kept my interest. I'll tell you what, if it was some others, I like if it was Kofi and Jay, it might not have held my attention as much, but.
It was a great way to start, and it was the thread throughout. Obviously, the pair of them. We've got the 2 proper wrestlers, the mat technicians. It was a joy. It was a joy. This actually, the entire chamber was just full of. I know, because obviously on the predictions, myself and Pete both went for Cesaro, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And even though Cesaro didn't win, he was the MVP of the thing.
Oh yeah.
He had spots for everybody.
Oh yeah, he was utilizing the cage a lot during that match.
Yeah, he was having like little signature spots for everybody. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes from there.
And his ring psychology was really good as well.
Yeah, there was a load of good stuff. There we had Bryan supposedly tweaking his knee early on.
That was a story throughout the entirety of the chamber.
Did you guys catch Owens telling
shouting,
Cesaro? Shouting at Cesaro. Yeah. It's his kney. His leg.
He was great. He was calling out pretty much everything they should do to just get people knocked out.
Yeah, which again, it's one of those little great things about Owens. But we had Bryan and Cesaro battling, as I say, battling throughout. They had the story of Bryan's knee. Uso coming out last, and everyone sort of going, even the commentary going, "Yeah, you're probably thinking this is pretty convenient."
I mean, it was something I put it like in the Discord. I definitely turned around and said, "I've got a twinge at the back of my neck. I think Uso's just going to win and then just lay down for Roman."
It was certainly a possibility. It was certainly a possibility, wasn't it? I'll tell you, the only person who Sammy was bloody brilliant. I loved Sammy because Sammy was bumping around, obviously, but Sammy tried desperately. Look, with Kevin knows we're friends. We're friends. It's like, yeah, about that. The only person who really didn't really do anything was Corbin. There was no point in Corbin being in there. A mannequin would have had the same effect as Baron Corbin.
Yeah, but here's the thing: he wasn't the first one to be eliminated, which was weird.
He was not.
It was Orton who was eliminated by a surprise elimination from Kofi. Like Kofi just like rolled him up and
Yeah, I got the feeling that wasn't meant to happen.
It was this sort of weird.
It did show that a little bit, but I think it was still planned.
It was this weird sort of bucking Bronco pin.
Yeah.
Because like
I mean,
it was like on the floor, and
either it was planned, which it was very good chance, or like AJ had some fucking amazing communication to be like, I'm gonna get in there because they fucked up.
I think it was planned because like we've had issues before. Like I recall the Intercontinental...
You guys are conflating. Hang on, just real quick. We're conflating the two chambers here because we're talking about.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right.
With Universe, we've merged the two.
Shoot, sorry.
Universal title is Bryan, Cesaro, Uso, Owens, Corbin, and Zayn.
Sorry,
We've been also talking about. We've all been talking about Orton and Kofi and stuff.
Whoops.
Reset, SmackDown. It's the blue one.
Yes, sorry. Let's go back to a point that did actually matter.
So it did start off with, like I say, the mannequin who honestly didn't do anything. 17 minutes in, Cesaro eliminated Corbin with a sharpshooter, no less.
Yeah.
Which was good. You then had Owens eliminating Zayn about 9 minutes down the line.
Mm-hmm. And then that would lead to a very unique spot where Jay shut the cage door on Owens' arm and just super kicked him to hell.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing we've seen with obviously the Hell in a Cell. But not with the chamber, not with Elimination Chamber, because that's a big ass door. That's a big ass door. So that there was sort of like Jey Uso came in. This sort of I do like the characterization of Jey Uso. Is like just always his attacks is like very very ferocious, very desperate. All the time, when he actually gets a flurry, it is full on, and you're not quite sure when he's going to stop. But this came after Kevin had a bunch of offense and was kind of on the offensive, and then, as you say, there was the arm in the door spot, and it kind of got curtailed in a hurry. It then kind of went back to Cesaro and Bryan, which was even better. We had various versions of the swing throughout. He had the swing on Corbin. He decided to Nia Jax swing.
Was that on Corbin? I thought it was on Jay.
The initial swing was the actual full swing in the ring was on Corbin.
Oh yeah,
the one.
But Jay and the one into the cage. The second one of which went straight into the post, and that was a bit off. And then the third swing was the one-legged swing with all the weight on the bad knee
of Bryan. Yeah,
on Bryan,
that was good.
That was really again. Good. It's just little things that just make you think, the guy's a very clever and very tactical wrestler. Always be interrupted by Master Uso.
Super kick to the face.
Super kick to the face.
Super kick pate.
Copyright infringement?
I don't know about that. There's and he eliminated Cesaro to and everyone just went damn it.
I went damn it earlier because Owens was eliminated earlier.
Owens was
so
eliminated earlier,
yeah. So I was out of the running on that.
At that point,
you're never thinking about the match that's happening. You only care about the belt. I see how it is. See how it is.
I'm sorry. About the content
there are
on
all
TV.
there are all these people doing their profession
like that as
all
well.
You care about.
Not at all. Because I knew I was keeping the belt.
Yeah,
what kind of logic is that?
I'd like to say he knew he was keeping the belt. Oh, he's next to John.
No, when I was defending.
When you were defending.
But yes, this was a good chamber match. And it led into a really good opener for the match versus Reigns with the eventual winner of Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
The opener was brilliant. It's just a shame that, it all went as expected. With Reigns just beating down an exhausted Bryan to then get speared by Edge, who then pointed at a sign and made fireworks magically appear. Yeah.
Somebody's got to have that aspect.
He got the sign excited.
You got a sign
excited. It's pointing. It couldn't take it anymore. It got really excited and just blew it load.
Man, do you know the foreplay that Kane had to do before Raw ever started to get all 4 ring posts just go?
Just there, just lubing up the post.
Yeah, it's just there. Just before,
yeah.
it's like some nice music, some sort of soft mood lighting.
Yep.
Stroking the ring post.
So after a short intermission while they're setting up for the next match, we had it confirmed by Michael Cole that Edge is indeed challenging Reigns at WrestleMania, even though there's Fastlane still in the way. And we had this whole big hullabaloo of Edge going, I'll wait until Elimination Chamber to, make my bet and not, there's another pay-per-view between, us and Mania. I
think he kind of has the foresight that Reigns is this champion, this arrogant champion that he says, "Oh, I don't want to do this," or I didn't want to. He is arrogant.
No, he's not arrogant. He's smart.
I would after the end of that match, I would concur with John because there was the whole thing about him sort of holding the belt up and sort of taunting Bryan, like, so you're always ready, are you? Like, thinking he's fucking Matt Cardona. He's you're the one who's always ready for anything. It's like, he just had a fucking Elimination Chamber match. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any sense.
He was ready. Technically, he was ready.
Yes, he was on the floor, but he was ready.
He was on the ball. He did try that one, the counter submission,
which was
from that spear, and that was obviously a great surprise. But we all kind of knew.
Yeah,
Reigns was
I am a little
tired.
I am a little tired now of seeing any time Roman's in the ring, it descending into mounting and punches. We're getting that a little bit too. It's like this is the section of the match where Roman just goes "Whoa!" and tells the guy over and just punches them into death.
Yeah, he goes into Samoan mode and just goes.
Yeah, it's just like the blind rage of the head of the table. But it's just like, okay, yeah, it's...
I don't mind it. The problem I have with it is that sometimes it does look like it's hitting a little bit too real, and you have to look away from the screen. That's my only problem with it.
He doesn't pull the punches. Neither were certain punches pulled later in the show, which we'll get to.
By the way, this is Daniel Bryan after all as well, so I'm surprised he was going on a little more harder than usual.
I mean, you could tell the hit was there.
Yeah.
It's not a fist. It's not a closed fist. That's an illegal move, John. A closed fist. God, don't you know anything, you mark? Fucking hell.
Pete.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh yes. By the way, Pete, we've had some concerns about you. Next prediction, we're gonna have you're the referee. Check the soles of your feet.
Okay.
Just in case.
You know.
You know.
Do you know what's on the sole of my feet?
I'm dread to think, but that's the referee's job.
The same thing that's in the middle of my hand.
I mean, if you got fingers growing out of there, buddy. I mean,
how do you think I'm so agile? Come on. Anyway, so up next we have the United States triple threat match. Riddle, Bobby of the Lashleys, and John Morrison.
You know what? I knew that Bobby Lashley was losing this within 30 seconds of him coming out.
It's the commentators thing, isn't it? They say something. They say.
Do you know he's held the belt for this? Hasn't he been impressive? He's held the belt for this. Oh, that's the longest reign in so and so. I can't see him losing.
I almost thought they were going to give it to Morrison under the premise of it's the one belt that's eluded Morrison to give him a Grand Slam.
At what point? Actually, that would be quite good. Actually, because
Grand Slam, he never won the WWE title.
But he's had a World Championship because he's been ECW World Champion.
That doesn't count.
Yes, it does because it's a World Championship.
It does because they brought it back into storyline thanks to the Miz. The Miz actually made it canon. But actually, that would be really good for him because, you know, his whole Slamtown gimmick. If it was actually a Grand Slam.
Look, after the end of what happened with Chamber, having Morrison with the United States belt, I think would have been fucking amazing.
No, what would have been better was if he'd won the 24/7. As a little extra cherry on top for the Miz, if he took the belt away from Bad Bunny. At least about that, the better.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, Lashley, I'm really coming around to Lashley. Like, this aggressive streak, working with MVP has obviously been golden. Morrison was just unfortunately thrown in, and I think the ending of the match was shit, because I can't remember why the fuck MVP's on crutches.
Oh, no, that's
legitimate.
It's legitimate.
Right.
He was injured in the match from SmackDown, was it? Raw. He had a match with Riddle, didn't he?
Right.
Against Riddle, yeah.
Against Riddle, and his knees legitimately hurt as a result.
It's the first time I'd seen him with the crutch. I think the ending was shit. Personally, I fully expected a pin to happen on either like Riddle or Morrison. I just think the ending was shit.
I don't understand, Pete. What do you mean? What could possibly be bad for a face just getting a crutch and hitting one of the heels across the back? I don't. What could possibly be bad and mixed messages about that? But
when you're editing this video, I just want you to put the subtitle of like inaudible sighing. Like, that's it. Just
endless inaudible sighing.
Yes, that's all that you need is my response.
I actually really like this match, with the exception of Riddle and Morrison being in it, which was kind of unfortunate. Because I entirely agree. I've been loving Lashley's stuff recently. It's very much similar to his TNA TNA run. It feels
very much like it's his Hall of Pain moment.
Yeah, he full on unleashed Bobby Lashley is fun. It's fun to see him tossing fools around. Him mowing down fools. We got to remember last time he faced Riddle, he pretty much destroyed Riddle. No heel shenanigans. He beat his ass, which then makes you question why he was actually in the match to begin with. But, one of those things. John, what did you think of this one?
I see. I wasn't as, judgmental on this match because I actually liked how it was working, how Riddle was working in the match. Like, he did pull off some really good stuff in it. Like, throwing Lashley over the top rope and then, his actual offense being impressive against Morrison, and just before the finish, pulling off some of his kind of like signature and finishers. But no, it's like I actually did enjoy this a bit better than you guys. Like for all the competitors in it. I mean, granted, yeah, the finish is a bit obviously, this simple note of keeping Lashley strong and using Morrison as the lapdog of the finish. And
now imagine the same finish, but with Morrison, you swap it for Keith Lee, and then Keith Lee has to take that pinfall.
Yeah, I know.
In that situation,
I think that's probably the reason why they took him out. Is because it's like if they did have Lee still in the match, he would still have eaten the pinfall, and I bet the boys. I bet you Bobby Lashley
damaged his character.
Here's the thing. I think Bobby Lashley said, "Guys, you have to take him out because that'll hurt him. If you do this finish and you have Riddle pin him to get my title, that's gonna hurt his character. You can't do
Lashley
that to him.
doing that actually.
Yeah.
I'd tell you what was really good actually. The whole thing of, I mean, commentary made note of this. Lashley staying in the ring, letting them come to him. Because he fought a handicap match.
Yeah.
Well, you had this weird thing where you had the face and the heel on the other heel on the outside, basically talking strategy because we can't handle this guy.
I'd say Morrison's more a tweener.
I mean, he technically is, but I think in WWE parlance, obviously, there's no real such a thing as a tweener unless you're Kurt Angle. So there's, there was. They took the belt off Lashley, which was, it turns out, a good thing.
Yeah, because obviously there was word before this match that Lashley was wanting to do bigger things down the line.
Did you notice he kept that quiet before predictions, don't you, Kev?
There had been mutterings, but it wasn't that strong to go on. In fairness to the smiley one there.
I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it as we get there.
I just wonder if we're elevating Bobby Lashley, and after his work with the US title, good luck. Does that mean like Cedric Alexander or somebody else from Hurt Business comes in as because I can't see Hurt Business.
They've still got to deal with the tag championship.
Yeah, but you're not telling me Hurt Business is going to let this go.
Well, the tag, because obviously you guys don't watch Raw, but the tag belts are in that strange place of Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander are constantly arguing with each other while they're in the matches and shit.
Yeah,
so
it's not only the problem on Raw; it's this problem on SmackDown as well. The tag division has completely been.
I'm not talking about the division. I'm talking about them as the Hurt Business, though.
Yeah, but I think they'll keep going and straighten it out. But it would be an interesting way if they lose the tag belts or something. It would be an interesting way to get.
Yeah,
Cedric would be a good fit for that.
Yeah.
And as a heel faction, or just as a faction generally, the Hurt Business is not one to forget. Isn't it not one to just go, oh no, we're done with you. No, screw you. We want revenge on you. So I kind of like that about Hurt Business.
I kind of hope the Hurt Business hangs around for a while.
Yeah, no, they're doing good. They're doing good work.
The problem with pushing Bobby Lashley to the moon for the heavyweight belt this close to Mania, when there's obviously a program going on. I mean, we'll see what happens post Raw and obviously on the road to Fastlane, but. Obviously, the champion is going to be ducking Bobby Lashley for a while. So, yeah. Shall we talk about the black hole that is the Women's Tag Team Championship match?
Hey-oh.
Well,
shall we talk about how instead of the SmackDown Women's champion and her probably gonna be challenger actually having a fall away feud, and that's the reason they lose, it's neither Jax or Baszler, it's another male from outside the match interfering.
What was I going on about last review?
I know.
I was watching this and I was just going, I hate being right. Just like, it's the monkey's paw. No, that's a different monkey's paw. It's...
Are you sure about that?
I bloody well hope so.
What did I say? What did I say on that last show as well? And it's like, I'm getting sick and tired of these males being interfering with the women's division and all that. Oh well.
Yes, you definitely did.
It's just me. I'm just obviously saying rubbish anyway because everyone liked that 24/7 bit. It's not going to affect everything else.
You're just a mark.
That's your.
He's not a sommelier though. It's fine.
Because it's true.
It's like why? It's like why? I'm guessing he was just cheaper than Carmella for that given night.
Or Carmella had booked days off or something, or
no, she didn't book days off. Loverboy was busy commentating.
I don't get it. The match was dire. Not only was the ending shit because of what was going on, but Jax just wasn't connecting properly with the moveset. Baszler was looking to be some kind of like fucking, I don't know.
What was the hell was
individual?
What the hell was that whole throw her on me? And it just looked like they were going with like Bella was just sort of going, oh yeah, do this, and then Nia just going, what?
Yeah,
communication
was all over the place.
I have no idea if the story is going to be this is the distraction that is going to allow Bianca to get the one-up on Sasha at WrestleMania. What? Or if this is a way for Carmella to reinsert herself back into the title picture, or what? I don't get it. It's garbage, and the fact that this match was even on the main card upsets me.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what. There was also, it was really janky. Belair did the worst kiss of death I think I've ever seen. She sort of just delicately planted Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
And it kind of took me out of the match at that point. I mean, I was already out with the weird thing at the beginning with the dancing. The dancing. Throw her on me. It was bad. It was a bad match.
I'm not looking forward to I don't know. I'm not invested in this entire storyline. Like I'm probably not even gonna fucking. I'm tuning in for it.
It's worse than that. It's two storylines. It's two stories that were sort of like shoved together there. In that you got the tag title stuff going on, and then you've got the women's championship. I mean, hell, it's not either of them.
I mean, granted, it's not as bad as the three that we had with Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Asuka, and Charlotte at that point.
I mean, the biggest problem with those matches is Charlotte and Baszler don't wrestle well together, and that's visibly every time they get in the ring together. And then those matches were tarred by Lacey Evans and Ric Flair's interference. So it's just, this match was bad. The finish was bad. The match was bad.
The finish was absolutely garbage. It's your typical distraction finish with a very, very poor attempt from Nia Jax to try to get to Sasha, because I don't know what she was trying to do.
It was a fucked up clothesline to the back of the head, really bad.
Back to the back of the solar plexus, more like. It's all right. It's all right though. Picking her up for the Samoan drop, and that was it.
She's gonna go to NXT and injure some up and coming talent next. So,
oh god,
God knows. Can we talk about something a bit better? Let's look at the WWE Championship match. Now, this one, let's see if I can get the competitors right on this one. So this had Orton and Jeff Hardy starting. It had Sheamus, AJ Styles, Kofi Kingston, and Drew in the cages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was good.
It was good, but not as good as the first one.
No.
It, like, the problem, like, some of the stuff in here, obviously, like we were, like I accidentally revealed earlier and whatnot.
Spoilers!
Like
with the magic of forgetfulness.
Look, I was invested in this. I think once the first pod opened, and we had Drew in there.
I mean, Drew was probably the best thing about it.
Jeff Hardy versus Orton. Yeah, they're workhorses. Yeah, they're good at what they do, but they're so old that we've seen everything they do now. Like there's not going to be anything different that we see there. But
unless what was it? Unless Orton ripped off, or someone ripped off a piece of the chain from the cage, put it inside of Jeff Hardy's
oh God,
earring hole.
John, don't give them ideas. I mean, it was actually quite nice that they checked that on culture, because I wondered if they would, because obviously it was like hyper violent at the time.
Yeah,
it was oh yes, they tried to tear his ear apart. Yes,
the finish was good. Obviously, the person I wanted to win didn't win, because AJ Styles is a moron and hit fucking Sheamus after he kicked Drew in the face.
Who's the mark now?
No, I'm not a mark. I just want what I want to win.
AJ is the mark.
Can someone tell me, however, after we've had an Elimination Chamber match through the years where we've had Ric Flair pass a fucking sledgehammer into Triple H, why the fuck management is coming in and banning people from ringside? In an Elimination Chamber match where there's no disqualification.
Destroy the cage. Well, this is the thing. This is why I'm saying AJ is the mark. It's like, yeah, take the pod apart, rip the pod apart. What, the pod that... Yes, look at him go. Look at him tear the plexiglass off this pod. Oh, wait, is this the same pod that Sammy kind of knocked the back off of accidentally in the previous one? Yes, it is. Yes, it's very impressive. Very impressive. The glue's still damp.
Like, Omos is still outside the cage,
The idea that Adam Pearce had any kind of authority at that point.
I like the fact that Omos, like anybody else as a wrestler who is the same height as Adam Pearce, let's just say, that squares up to Omos just lurches over them and they're like, nah, bruv. But when it's Adam Pearce, he's like, get out.
Go!
Omos is not even a registered WWE wrestler. He technically has his bills are paid by his wages are paid by AJ Styles. Technically Adam Pearce has no authority over him, but Adam Pearce runs out there, fucking same size as any other wrestler, tells Omos to leave, and Omos has a little tantrum, stamps his feet, and walks up the ramp.
I did laugh at AJ going like, "Don't go."
Yeah, that was. It's the logic of it,
It's his turn.
What's Omos going to do if he turns around to Adam Pearce and says no?
What?
Get suspended? Ooh, I don't wrestle anyway.
The best that he could do is obviously find him, in some way or fashion, and say whether he's employed or not, they can still
ban him from the building. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
You can go back to Raw Underground.
What?
Hey! Shane sort of acknowledged him regarding that.
Yeah, but Omos didn't, and they were just like it's just it blew my mind. But oh my god, it's silly shit like that. Like, what's he gonna do? Omos, look under the ring, find me a chair, pass me this chair through this massive hole in the thing.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, he could do more kind of like interruptions.
If we're now going to ban anybody who breaks the plexiglass on there, then Otis should have got banned from the tag team elimination chamber.
Well, he ran through it.
He broke it. He broke the plexiglass on the side and he left the ring. He should have been banned. It makes no sense.
No, you're making no sense on that factor. Because,
did Omos take the plexiglass off and make a hole in the cage?
Yes.
Yes. Did Otis run through a cage and break plexiglass
But
on the back
he
of
was
cage?
he was a competitor and not it's one of those things. I know, Pete, I know, but in WWE land, it makes all the difference in that you're an outside. I know this is a no disqualification match, but it's an outside factor trying to undo. We've seen people do break into Hell in a Cells before and cut the lock and stuff and then get ejected. So in that case, it's like a similar thing.
Yeah, it's the same back in 2000. Yeah, 2000.
Yeah,
where,
but at the same time, you're right.
Are you
telling
me that you guys would not have wanted to see Drew square up to Omos?
No, you save that for another day. I personally, I just hope Omos never says anything. He needs to be like Lurch in the Addams Family, and just anytime there's any kind of displeasure, he just has to go. That's it. That's it. Besides, if we'd have gone into the Omos thing, we'd have distracted from everything else. I did like the reason why, though, this whole thing with Omos and the plexiglass took place, was that AJ being smart and saying, Orton got eliminated in under 9 minutes. Randall Keith Orton, under 9 minutes, was eliminated. And then, obviously, RKO'd Kofi and with his bucking Bronco pin. And Jeff, because, fuck you, Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
And it actually made sense because he was going to be the next guy in.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of behooved him to get in there and try and get rid of a couple of people quick. So that was good. But yeah, I agree with you, and one of these times I agree with both of you, because there was the precedent for it, and it does go against the logic of the no disqualification thing where anything goes. But
John, what did you think of the match?
It was okay. Like I said, it's not as good. I didn't feel it was better than the first Chamber match in the during the pay-per-view. But Drew, he kept himself being strong. I'll give the thing. This whole thing was very reminiscent of New Year's resolution 2006, 5, I can't remember. Where John
6,
Cena,
I think.
Yeah, where John Cena, after a hefty defending of the title and whatnot. Although granted, in that version, John Cena was bloodied and whatnot, and it's like he was like went through an absolute war, and that was the same for Drew. Drew went through a whole war with all the guys that were in here. Especially with Sheamus, obviously. Sheamus, like, he obviously, he's obviously trying to be menacing, trying to be intimidating and whatnot, but he's not looking at Drew while Drew's making the work against, AJ Styles and Kofi and Hardy. He's just he's got his back to him, and he's just like, getting ready.
That was a really good camera shot.
Yeah.
There was a couple of things where they were looking specifically when they were focusing through the pods, which were really good camera shots. The one where they got the camera, it was partway behind the light post, not so much. But yeah, that in particular was a really good shot.
Also, one of the spots that happened, I think it was with Jeff, I think, where Drew threw Jeff tried to throw him into one of the pods, and then he just shouts at the cameraman and it's like, "Told you to get out of the way!" And it's like,
but where was he gonna go?
Yeah.
Where was this poor guy gonna go? He was smacking the corner by the pod.
Yeah.
There was literally nowhere for the camera guy to go.
I think this is what he was like with the camera. It's like
he was right in the back. Like, told you to move.
Shall I tell you my biggest problem with
Yeah, go on.
Drew winning the chamber as a whole, and why he probably, because he's been seen, with the exception of I think one match on Raw and the one match versus Randy Orton on pay-per-view, he's been shown to be this indestructible monster on the level of Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. The man kicks out of F5s, he kicks out of spears, and he kicks out of like the jackhammer and everything else. The man lasts from third all the way to the end of the chamber, wins it. You know, looks pretty fucking good for it. But I mean, after that, what does it take in a normal everyday match to beat Drew McIntyre? Like if he goes on to WrestleMania and it's not some form of gimmick match and it was a straightforward one-on-one, how do you do it? Like he's been built up to this point of being like so unbeatable. Like at least with the stuff that we have with Roman Reigns, he gets caught unawares. He looks vulnerable at times. He acts like he's a normal person. But Drew's just been built up to be this unbeatable monster, and I'm not sure if they're trying to go for the whole we've done this entire storyline so that you feel like Brock Lesnar can actually beat the Undertaker and the Streak. Like that is that what they're going for? Like, because it's not paying off for me anyway. So in the post chamber with what they've done, I kind of get it, but you know, I also don't, because we saw a singles match with like spoilers, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre before, and Drew just essentially shrugged it off. And that's my problem with the McIntyre thing. And if it was gonna happen, it was either gonna be at the chamber, in the chamber itself, or you know, what's the next step? Armageddon, six-man Hell in the Cell. But that's not gonna be for another half a year.
It's the thing that would be the main culprit to eventually weakening Drew would be champion's fatigue. Eventually, he would be tired, because obviously, you know, if we were going through the typical kind of like calendar year of a WWE roster and champions, they would be wrestling multiple times throughout the week and whatnot, and they're defending their championship multiple times and whatnot, and eventually the champion will get fatigue over how many times he's defending the title. And of course, especially during this match where he went through the Elimination Chamber for an exceedingly long time. Now granted, all those other matches with Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, they weren't as long as this match, and of course it didn't incorporate many other people. It's like, it's just my idea.
He's weak in that sense. In that sense, John, you're right, because his weakness, McIntyre, is that he wants to be this fighting champion. You know, it's like, I'll give my buddy Sheamus a shot. Yeah. Well, that's worked out for him, isn't it? Suddenly he's got a whole new thing. And that kind of ties in with how Miz won it, because the one thing that he couldn't control was the person that had the control, which is Miz.
Yeah,
Miz called the shot on the time.
Yeah, which is opportunity and whatnot.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I just want to point out your champion's fatigue stuff. Like, if we go back to WrestleMania, when, you know, he undeniably ruined Brock Lesnar, yeah, and then the next night he was dealing with The Big Show, moved on to Seth Rollins, yeah, and then we had Bobby Lashley, and then after Lashley, you know, we go into Dolph Ziggler, and then we have this entire feud with Randy Orton, which was, in this order, an ambulance match. He then had a random open challenge against Robert Roode, and then he lost it eventually in a Hell in a Cell match. You know, and that's after that ridiculously looking table bump outside, and then time to recover to get back around the cell back into the ring. Like, if he had gone through the cage a la Mick Foley, I'd get that, but it was bringing all the way back through it. But then he reclaimed it relatively quickly, you know. So the loss there wasn't a champion's fatigue match. That was, I mean, not even in storyline, because we've seen him handily beat Orton repeatedly. You know,
I mean, the alternative is you cover him with tables and ladders and stuff, and then hit him in the head with a toolbox, and we know how well that works.
Yeah.
It's whatever the case though. We had the when everything was said and done, we had a beautiful Claymore.
Oh yeah,
that was a beaut.
Was it with Kofi or
no? The final one with AJ.
Oh, the final one with AJ.
Out of midair, the not a deliberate RKO setup type thing. That really was out of nowhere, and it was a beaut. It was bang on, midair Claymore.
It was also very easy to call it was happening.
Yes.
Predictability.
But
AJ's phenomenal forearm is always a nice, easy
it's an invitation, but it's not nearly as much an invitation of, oh, look, Randy Orton is on the ground and somebody's gone to the top rope. So I'll take it. But we then had, obviously, McIntyre won. The chamber went up, and you kind of thought, hello? Chamber's going up. Well, something's going to happen here.
There was basically time.
There was time.
Oh, yeah.
There was
There
time.
was
Don't get me wrong. I'm kind of liking these 2.5 hour pay-per-views. Not going to lie, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's not. It is nice. It does accentuate the problem with Raw. If you have a 3-hour Raw and a 2.5 hour pay-per-view, which hopefully WWE might actually take notice of. You never know. The
draw of ad revenue is too strong.
Look,
but yes,
they'll definitely take notice.
We had a Bobby Lashley rampage against Drew McIntyre. What we did fail to mention is that before this last chamber match, there was a almost silent camera thing of The Miz and MVP chatting, which almost, because there was no sound, made it look like it wasn't meant to be there. But
commentary didn't mention it either.
No,
it was something for us, the audience, to pick up on.
Mm-hmm. So obviously there was this, and people are wondering if The Miz was going to run out, and The Miz did. There was it took way too long. I was expecting McIntyre to literally just Claymore and just walk off. But no, The Miz did some stuff. McIntyre kicked out. He went for his, oh my God, what's it called? I can't remember what the face plant's called.
Skull crushing finale.
Skull crushing finale, yeah. Got the pin, and Miz is now your WWE champion for the second time.
A decade on.
A decade on.
10 years. Crazy.
I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet being like, this time last year, or like close to it, Miz had turned around and went, if I'm not main eventing WrestleMania next year in Hollywood, I'm going to put my career on the line. So, we'll see what happens with that. But you know what? I've said I think since we've started Last Minute Kick Out that I want to see a Miz title run again.
We've all said it.
The man has deserved another one. He's definitely put in the fucking work. The only thing I don't want to see, because obviously we know at WrestleMania it's meant to be Bad Bunny versus The Miz.
No.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can we have a champion versus champion? Let's have a champion versus championship match on Raw, and The Miz can hold the 24/7 belt and the WWE Championship.
I'd say I would like to see that. I would like to see. It would certainly help 24/7 the WWE. The WWE Championship becomes 24/7. But in all seriousness, we got a really interesting setup here because obviously this is being recorded prior to Raw for those guys who are watching and listening. So we don't know the deal. The deal that was made between Miz and
this is how I predict Raw is going to open. It's going to start with Miz TV, and MVP and Bobby Lashley are going to be there, and McIntyre's going to walk down and want to Claymore someone, but Bobby Lashley's going to get in the way, and we're going to have Bobby Lashley
Because
as the
he's
enforcer.
first.
It's going to be Lashley versus Miz at Fastlane. Miz is going to wangle his way out of it somehow because he's a sneaky, dirty heel, and he's going to get disqualification. And then maybe McIntyre will win back the belt in front of a crowd at Mania, which is what I said months ago.
If this leads to McIntyre, Miz, Lashley triple threat at Mania,
No, I don't want that.
oh, I do. Current Lashley versus McIntyre, nice.
Yeah, but
Because you've
I
then got a
feel
very
like-
interesting threat for McIntyre, because you've got the physical threat,
yeah,
and then you've got this other opportunist as well, who's the current champ. So there's lots going on.
The problem with that sort of triple threat for Mania means that it's obviously no disqualification then, which means that that's the one thing that Miz can use to kind of level the playing field for
There is
him.
that.
But I feel like Lashley versus McIntyre will take the spotlight, and Miz will get pushed to the side again, just exactly like fucking what happened when it was him versus Cena at Mania, and he wasn't there for the spotlight. He was there as a fucking stepping stone for Cena Rock.
It's fun. Honest to goodness, even if this is like transitional, I'm just so happy for the guy.
I'm glad for the boy. He deserves it.
However, if we do get that triple threat, I'm telling you this now, my prediction is Lashley.
It depends where on the card it'll be. I have a
'Cause if
feeling.
he's- if
I have
Lashley's
a feeling
champion-
Edge Reigns is going to be the main event.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it
yeah.
will.
But if Lashley becomes champion,
What's
what's the one match we've been waiting for?
At this moment in time, I'm not even sure they'd put the belt on Edge, which is why I didn't want Edge Reigns.
But yeah, well,
Anyway,
Just throwing
that
it
has
out
been the
there.
end, ladies and gentlemen, of Elimination Chamber 2021. Before we wrap this up, quick scores around the doors. Mr. John Turbo Finley marks out 10.
Well, I think because I was saying it was a decent decent kind of like pay-per-view and whatnot, judging by everything that we said, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Kev?
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
I'm going to give it a 6. The Elimination Chambers make up for how bad the two middle matches were, in my opinion. And, you know, the ending is pretty good as well. So I'll take that as well. But yeah, that has been Elimination Chamber 2021 from Last Minute Kickout. We've had John Turbo Finley.
Thank you.
We've had Kevin Eva.
Did we have?
Myself, Pete Titans Green Nevico, and we will be back for AEW Revolution predictions. Will be the next one we'll be here for, guys, in a couple of weeks. So find us all on the social medias, etc., and we'll see you next time.